Alright. I honestly forgot where I was. Oh, dear me. So, what was the next game that I played? Well, the next game would be Final Fantasy 1 for PlayStation. Now, this was another game I found really difficult, especially endgame. I don't know why. I honestly don't know how it was so hard for me, but it was. That's all I know. Now, obviously there's no real story, because it's the first Final Fantasy game ever made. There wasn't really much story in games back then. So you're a bunch of dudes, or a dudette, I guess you could say the white mage is, going around save the world by beating up bad people. And I just hit the wrong thing. Fantastic. Always gotta love when you hit the wrong thing. Sucker. Now, the gameplay I think is okay. Like, what am I doing here? I don't know what I'm doing here. I don't want to do that. Where am I? Oh, it's a monitor. Hold on, more blade. Remove all of the holy. Nothing shall be left that is holy. But again, in the long run, the game's not that difficult. You run around, you beat things up with your weapon. That's pretty much all you do. You can use your spells, but you're pretty limited on how much you can cast them in the original and PlayStation. The Game Boy Advance made it even more broken. It gave you MP, which I don't know why they did that. They wanted to bring it up to standards with the current Final Fantasies, which I can understand to a degree why, but I don't think it was necessary at all. Whoops, I'm losing my headphones. Now, there's really not that much you can do to break the game. Like I said, most of it is just using a hack, and a hack, and a hack some more. And finally, you will hack. Yup. Who knew that you were going to hack it? I didn't hit the button. That just means that the game is bug-free, or breakable, or unbreakable. Because there's a few places you can abuse for leveling up. You can abuse equipment that uses magic. You can go places extremely early. Like the moment you get the boat and the canoe. Yes, the canoe is the biggest part. You get the canoe, and then you go all around the world to the Citadel of Trials, or around there, and you take a long ways to get to where... Actually, no, wait. You have to go through a cave, get the float stone, which I believe you get broke a robot? I could be wrong. But, where am I? Oh, it's Muncie. Wait a minute. Yes. I have to think. And you can get the airship early, go to the Circle Trials, get your job classes before you fight Merilith or Kraken or Tiamat. You can actually fight them out of order, which is really silly. And if the Game Boy Advance version, the optional bosses really are not that difficult. Except Omega and Shinryu. Of course, they would be hard. But everyone else is pretty easy. Except the Gunsons are, really annoying. Oh god, they annoying. So yeah, that's all I have to say about the original. There's really not that much to say on it. Final Fantasy II. This game, I really don't like Final Fantasy II, if you cannot tell. I have beaten it on the NES, well, emulator on NES, originally on PlayStation, and on the Game Boy Advance. And I hate it on every single one. Reason being is sitting there to grind stats and magic levels of stuff, I find really boring. I spent, there we go, like, hey, you forgot to remove the Ichimonkeys. Good job with you. Okay, but I spent 2 hours grinding the first dungeon in fast forward mode, just so I could grind up my regular attack. Because quite frankly, I did not want to put up with that game. Because that game, to me, was not that fun at all. It was really boring. I did not like any of the characters. I will admit the leveling system is unique, but it was not fun. The game just was not fun at all. And I have Homar and Morosme. And just some of the fights are really unfair. Like, you will not believe the cockatrices. They are the most unfair enemies I have ever fought. Because they hit you, and you instantly get petrified. And you can run into 6 of them at a time. And there's not much you can do about it. You can cure petrification, but they'll just get petrified anyway, so... And running that game is like terrible. Like you wouldn't believe. I almost couldn't beat the NES version because of the cockatrice. Is it cockatrices or cockatry? I do not know. So yeah, that's all I have to say about 2, really. You could break it easily too by abusing a couple glitches, which were fixed in the Game Boy Advance version. But here's another thing that people don't really know properly. Did you know, for the most part, it is pointless to buy new weapons? Because if you go unarmed, that does more damage than if you have weapons equipped. From what I was told anyway, saw the wiki. which I find very, very silly. Like, why? Just why? Why would you do this? Oh, I got rid of it. I was like, wait, huh? So yeah, that's all I have to say about Who. Who was unique, and you could go anywhere, almost. Like, the world map is the only world map where you can walk from one part and loop all the way back to where you started. Of course, this assumes you, don't get killed by the enemies. And those enemies are very, very mean. They don't like you walking there. So don't walk there. You're gonna die a lot. Now, after all of that, we have Final Fantasy X, which I find to be a really good game. I don't know why people hate it. I mean, the story is really good. The characters are not that bad. I don't know why everyone hates Tigus or Tigus or however you want to say his name. He's not that bad of a character. I find Cloud to be worse of a character than Tigus. I really do. And I'm originally starting with 7. I used to love Final Fantasy 7. But even I have to say, Cloud is not that great of a character. He does not change, like, at all throughout the entire game. Which is, really none of the characters change. Which is really, really bland and boring. Which is probably why I don't like the game as much. But anyways, 10. 10 is legitimately difficult, I think. Like, unless you super overgrind, it's going to give you a challenge, I think. It's not something to sneeze at. Well, unless you're like a wizard and you know exactly what you're doing. I only played through the game once, I know. I've had the game for years and I only played through once. I should play through it again. I really wish I could do an LP of it for you guys, but this computer's not going to run the PlayStation 2 emulator and I don't have a Castle. Now, anything else to talk about with 10? I honestly don't remember that much about 10. Oh boy. It's my least played Final Fantasy. Well, one of them. So, I do like what they did with the Spirit Grid. That was neat. Even though you could break it, but you can only break it so far until you had to wait before you could absolutely break it. Which I think was a good gameplay design. Personally. Of course, I think the game is unique enough. Well, the characters are unique enough until you break the Spirit Grid. Then it's like, oh hey, it's like Final Fantasy 7, I'm just gonna hack a whole bunch. That's the only thing I see bad about that. And Saga is taking a while to do, oddly enough. And this is gonna go on for like 3 hours, my goodness. But yeah, U7 was a terrible final boss. I thought Seymour would be better as the final boss, and that is the wrong thing. Hell, the final boss was interesting, I have to say. That's all I can say. Seymour is an asshole. That's all I can say about him, too. I don't like you, Seymour. I don't like you. You and Mount Jagaset. You can die. get rid of that, get rid of that, and get rid of that. Now, again, blue magic, you would never really use it there because, again, why would you make it a limit break? That's a terrible idea. But I think the limit system was very well done compared to 7 where you get hit and it fills up a little bit, or 8 where it's completely broken, and 9 where it's like pointless to even have. I think it was well done in 10. I really, really do. Now, is 10 balanced compared to others? I think it's fairly balanced. You still will not use status effects as much, but you'll use them more than in other games, because you kind of want to. Otherwise, you're gonna get hurt a lot, and you're not gonna like it. Because being hurt hurts. I know, that's surprising, isn't it? Now, I have really nothing else to say. Oh, the side quests, yes. Some of those side quests are really, really terrible. I don't like them. Like getting some of the celestial weapons. Like the Chocobo racing one, that one is terrible. And the butterfly catching one, that one is also terrible. Now, the game can also be really, really mean, and a big fat jerk. For example, Malboros. More importantly, the great Malboros. Unless you have a weapon with first strike, you're going to die. That's all there is to it. Because they're mean. They don't like you. They want you to die. And guess what? You will die a lot. Because they're mean. And some of the bosses really, really make you think. Like, for example, Seymour. There is a point where you want to avoid the zombie. Because if he zombies you, he's gonna full life that person. And that person's gonna die. So you want to have zombie protection. So the game makes you think about what you want. Of course, this assumes you know what's coming up. If you don't know what's coming up, you're gonna have to learn by dying. But I think that's okay. Sometimes learning by dying is okay. Am I almost done here? I believe I am almost done. I think I need to go to Tsukiyomi. There is Tsukiyomi, and I have everything over Tsukiyomi. Yay, I can actually move on, and I think I need track. Darn it. So, that's all I can say about 10. It's pretty linear. I will give it that. You pretty much go from point A to point B, and there's really no other places you can go. A bit of the same, but oh well. What can you do, right? I already did this. What am I doing? Stop being stupid. Wait a minute. Oh. Rokaken. Now, I got confused. Why did I get confused? I don't know. Oh, I know why. Because I gotta do this. Because I got... Wait. No. Maybe? Rokaken, yes. What am I doing? I don't know. So let's go to Final Fantasy X. Oh god, this game. When I first played this and found out that there was a sequel to a Final Fantasy game, I'm like, what? An actual sequel? Is this going to be good? When I played it, I thought it was a good game. It was fairly fun. It was kind of hard at times, but it was a fun game, and where am I going? I'm going right here. But in the long run, when you think about it, it's kind of not that great. It really isn't. One of the things that made the Final Fantasy a unique series is it did not have an actual sequel. Each game was a completely different game, which is what I liked about the series. And then Ten 2 happened, and then it's like, because then you got all of these Final Fantasy 7 games, Final Fantasy 4 After Years, Final Fantasy 12 Revenant Wings, all these sequels. And it's like, come on, really? You're gonna ruin it by doing that? No. It was weird not being able to change party members because I was so used to it, and oh my goodness, there's a sneeze coming up. Now, give me a second. Hopefully nobody heard that. Now, it also felt very, very weird not being able to equip weapons. You were limited to accessories and the, what was it called? Garment grid? I don't know, I played through it like 6 times. I don't remember much, it's been years. I'm getting older. Now, the story's not that good, I think. It's okay. It's not downright terrible, but it's not that great. If you ask me, I think they should have left 10 as it was, with how it ended. I really do. I think that would have been a good ending. Well, game, maybe not so much for ages, but really, how many games do you know where at the end of the game you lose the main character? Like, the main character isn't actually real and at the end of the game he goes away. Like, the ending at hand was actually a really well done ending. I really think it was, I really think that it was done really well. And again, I don't know why people complain that it's terrible. I really, really don't. Because it's not as bad as some other games, let me tell you that. Now, I think one of the things that makes Ten 2 unique is it was mission-based, which I wasn't used to, and I thought it was interesting for the most part. And I don't know where I am. I'm right here. Yes. It's very easy to get lost when you're doing coding. But having to go through the game like 2, 3, 4 times to get 100% is kinda annoying. Let's be honest here. Especially when you don't know what gives what. Like, at the very start of the game, you have to talk to a Moogle. And it's never hinted at that doing this gives you any percentage at all. Likewise, going to sleep at the start of each chapter gives you percentages. Which is like, you're never gonna know that. You never really have to use the end, so I don't know. Just one of those things that I think is really, really silly. And I should have thought better about. And where am I? I keep losing myself. So yeah, there's that. Now, this is around the time I stopped playing Final Fantasy on the consoles. Except for one, but we'll get that. So, most of the others I've played are going to be on the emulators. Yes, emulators. Now, I did replay several of the older Final Fantasies on Game Boy Advance. I think they did a good job making them fun. That's what I think. Oh, some of the stuff in Final Fantasy V Advance can get really, really, really evil. Let's be honest. Even in 6, some of the stuff can get pretty hard. Yes, pretty hard. Wait. Now, I did all of the Final Fantasies for my YouTube channel, 7891245 and then I decided I'm going to play Final Fantasy Tactics for the first time. Now, Destroyer, who is a friend of mine, a good friend of mine, was trying to convince me to play this for like 5 years. He kept telling me that I would enjoy the game a lot. Which, mind you, I really do like the game. But because I don't like strategy RPGs, SRPGs, whatever, I refuse to play it. Now, I decided to play it for the first time on stream, just to say that I beat the game, because I'm a self-proclaimed Final Fantasy master. I can't be one if I don't beat the games, right? And that game was a thing. I was not used to it at all. Like, I played the first few hours not knowing there were multiple pages for abilities. So, I didn't have gained JP up for, like, 5 battles. It was embarrassing. Let's just say that. Where am I? You. Yes. Now, I find the game to be... It can still be challenging, don't get me wrong. But it's very, very easily broken. It depends on how you play the game, obviously. Like, you can sit there and grind, and the rest of the game's not going to be difficult at all. Or you could go straight for the game with minimal grinding, and the game's going to be pretty tough. Now, I'm just going to say right now, Orlando, however you say his name, I don't know, is a total badass, plain and simply put. Like, why would you not use him? Unless, you're trying to not break the game more than it already is. Because he's just really, really overpowered. I don't know what they were thinking when they did him. But he's like, there's no reason not to use him. Compared to some other characters that there's no reason to use him, like Rafa and wasn't Malik and I don't know, those twins that nobody uses because who cares about them really? Or some people don't use Cloud because really Cloud is kind of terrible. He really is. I still use him because I like using instant death and stopping things. And again, that game has the problem of having stuff that you're not going to know even exists. Like, if you said no to the flower seller, who is Arab, Eris, whatever, then you would never be able to do half the side quests, which is kind of lame. Not that, there's any reason not to buy the flower. I mean, it's only one guild, come on. Don't be a cheapskate. And oh god, the dungeon, deep dungeon, Midlight Steep. That place is terrible. Because you have to guess what the exit is. And there's stuff that can be missed forever because you pick up another thing that's crappier than what you're trying to get. It's just, Also, the final boss is a complete joke. Even if you don't grind, the final boss is a complete and total joke. She's about as easy, if not about the same difficulty as Sephiroth. And that's saying something, because he's easy. He's like one of the easiest final bosses in the series. I think, anyways. Now, going from hat hits to hat hits of fans, which is what I'm currently LPing. Why? I don't know. Why do you have Marasime? Oh, you're the one I forgot. Okay. When I played the Final Fantasy Tactics Advance, I had high expectations because I loved, Final Fantasy Tactics. I was like, hey, maybe this game will be as good as this game. I'll give it a try. First fight, the game was really, really slow. I was like, oh my god, this game is going to be really slow. And it was. And then I started playing, and I was learning these abilities. I'm like, this is interesting. Getting abilities from equipment reminds me of Final Fantasy IX. And then I realized that I was grinding a lot because I would get abilities from new equipment, so something I would want to get more abilities. And it was like, okay, I'm just gonna move on with the game, stop grinding. And even without all the massive grinding, the game's not that hard. Actually, the game was kind of boring. Because it's like, as you're seeing the current LP, everything dies like stupidly fast. I still hate the law system. Nothing's ever gonna make me like that. I think it makes you think about what to do, yes, I can understand that. But really, it's just more annoying than anything else. And, as I've stated in LP, the final boss is a bunch of bullcrap. Because you get through all of the story stuff, most of it's not that difficult, and then you get the final boss, and the final boss is like, what the crap? Because it does like 200 and 300 damage to everyone in your party, and you really don't get that much HP. And no, I was like level 20 when I got this final boss. So, yeah. If you've seen how I was at level 20 of the LP, you can see why I think this boss was terrible. Now, I beat the game, and I realized, or found out, that there was more you could do after beating it, and I was like, nah, I don't want to do this anymore, this game's not that fun. Don't worry, I will try to do everything this time. Just so I don't have to do it anymore. So, after that, I think I played Final Fantasy III, the NES version. That was the thing. That was actually a very interesting experience, because that game's not easy at all. It isn't. And it makes you think about how you want to play and handle it. I just realized there's, no Scarlet Lotus sword here. Or is that later? No, that's supposed to be now. Why is that not there? Did I goof up? I probably did. Because that's how I roll. Now I have to figure out where it is. No. I'll have to look at that later. But anyway. That game is definitely a thing. It's relatively difficult. I know I'm repeating myself, but some of the fights in there are just downright evil. Just downright evil. And if you don't come prepared, you're going to die a lot. And that's exactly what happened. I died a lot. I wasn't really that frustrated with it though, it was different. Until endgame where it just got really stupid. Oh god, it got stupid. And I think what really made it, annoying to play is, if you died in a dungeon, you have to redo the entire dungeon again, because there's no save points in dungeons. Which was very annoying at the very last dungeon, because it takes like an hour just to get up. If you run out of items, guess what? You got to take an hour to go back down. And then through the maze to get to your airship. So annoying. But the final boss, it's just, I don't know, the final boss was dumb. I think. Just came out of nowhere. Kinda like old Amicia, except worse. Freaking old Amicia. Oh, you were corrupting the series before your game. Alright. Now, after getting through those, I believe I played the DS versions. I started with Final Fantasy III because I just beat NES, and it felt easier, except with some bosses where every boss acts twice in one turn. Now I'm like, what? Why? It's stupid. The last world bosses were easier in the DS version than the NES. Mostly because I just broke my paperclip. Fantastic. That's what I always wanted to do. But mostly because you didn't have the two-headed dragon. Yes, the two-headed dragon hitting you for like 5,000 to 7,000 damage. And twice. You only have him hitting you twice for like 500 to 1,000. Which is, a lot more reasonable. Now, there was a funny little glitch in the DS version where you could duplicate items. Did I use it? Perhaps. Because I didn't want to go through all of that again. Because Phoenix Downs are kind of hard to get. And even with that glitch, you can die very, 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 very easily. So, I'm gonna stop the video again. When we pick up, we'll get through more of the series. So, give me a few, and I will be right back.